Heyo everyone, MimiVix here, and this time we are breaking down Hell on Rails Normal, the latest trial for Doomtrain patch 7.4. Doomtrain has some mechanics that have audio cues, so I do suggest adjusting the sound settings to make them easier to detect, but it's not necessary to complete the trial. That said, let's hop aboard. Doomtrain will start with Lightning Burst, targeting both tanks with a Tank Buster, which is often moved to the far front corners of the car, so try not to overlap. He will then back away and use Lightning Express. Laser patterns will spawn using upper and lower levels, and players will need to line up with safe zones before the cast finishes, as Doomtrain will ram the car, knocking everyone backwards while dealing some raid-wide damage. Doomtrain will back away again, this time using Windpipe. This is a powerful draw-in that can be negated using immunities, but otherwise you will need to be at the very back of the car to avoid the collision AoE that will take the front section of the car. He will follow this with Unlimited Express, backing up and ramming the train car at full speed, which will deal heavy raid-wide damage and toss everyone onto the next car. This car, if you notice, will have storage crates located onto it. The boss will use Turret Crossing, which will spawn turrets on both sides of the train car, which will stay in play here. One side will light up, and players will need to position themselves behind the cargo crates in order to hide from the blasts. After the first turret fire, the boss will use Lightning Express again, but this time players will need to remember that the second blast of Turret Crossing has not resolved. Position yourself in a safe zone from the lasers, and then move behind the crates once you regain control of your character, in order to avoid the volley of turret fire. Another Windpipe, but this time players can use the crates to block their paths to avoid being dragged into the attack. Also, remember that turrets will be firing again, and players will need to reposition to avoid being shot. A Lightning Burst Tank Buster will be cast, and the turrets will despawn, indicating that this car's mechanics are coming to a close. He will then use Unlimited Express, so healers be ready with those shields and heals. This car's mechanics will introduce us to the upper level platforms, while also introducing the main mechanics for even having them. Head-on emission will give a visual cue of both animation and dialogue. If his jaws are glowing, go up. If his headlamp is glowing, stay down. He likes to introduce this mechanic with jaws, then lamp, but keep it in your mind to pay attention to him. Another Lightning Express, and this time we get to utilize the raised platform, so move to the safe zone as needed. This will be quickly followed up with a Lightning Burst Tank Buster, so tanks be ready to shift away from the group. Doomtrain will then use Unlimited Express again and throw everyone onto the next car, so healers be ready to top everyone off. Once Doomtrain returns to the fight, he will cast Runaway Train, which will transport the party away and into his DPS check. Once inside, the party will focus down the Aether Orb at the center of the room while avoiding the various cone AoEs that will appear on the floor. Tanks, however, will be targeted by the Ghost Train that circles the room with a large conal tank buster called Ethereal Ray that must be repositioned so that it does not cleave the group. This can be achieved by running toward the apparition and then moving in front of or behind it as it slows down in order to shift the attack. The floor AoEs will always go off ahead of the tank buster cone, so you can try and do quick repositioning through them. Once the Aether Orb has been defeated, Doomtrain will reenact its summoning animation from Final Fantasy VIII and run everyone over, dealing raid-wide damage. Shield and heal as best you can, and you will then be transported back to the flat car. Once back on the flat car, Doomtrain will manifest 2 large Aether arms and unleash a roar which will deal raid-wide damage. Doomtrain will then use Arcane Revelation, which is a beam-like attack that has audio and visual cues. As his hands get closer, the AoE will be primed. Personally, I find the audio cue to be more reliable as there's a lot of things happening on screen, making his hands difficult to see sometimes. When you hear the laser charge pulse, that means the attack is about to go off. When it is moving, it will move 2 or 3 times. Listen for the lasers, as that means it is about to stop moving and go off. He will then cast Derailment Siege, a multi-hit stack, so shield and heal before making a run to the very back of the flat car as soon as the AoE is complete. Doomtrain will then use Derail, grabbing the flat car and ripping it from the train. Run to the portal to change cars before this completes. Once the boss returns to the fight, he will use Arcane Revelation again. Remember to watch which direction the beam is rotating, and that once you hear the lasers, you need to move to the safe zone as it's on your last shift. This will happen 2 times, then the boss will cast Turret Crossing, giving you another thing to manage as he shifts into head-on emission. For me, he used the lamp, so we need to stay low while also trying to position ourselves so that we do not get shot by the turrets. Another head-on emission, this time his jaw, so we need to move up. Thanks, Portal Wag. To avoid the electricity while also being away from the turrets. Windpipe is next, so try to use the walls to prevent yourself from being dragged into the collision AoE, and so that you can swiftly move out of any turret fire. Keep in mind you can fall off of these flat cars. It just happens sometimes. Battering Arms is another multi-hit stack, so shield and heal. This will be followed up with Lightning Burst Tank Busters, so make sure that you spread away from the tanks as soon as Battering Arms concludes so that you don't get clipped. Another Arcane Revelation cast. Remember, the laser sound indicates it's on its last move, so look which direction that it is moving and listen out for it so that you can move to safety. Another turret crossing into head-on emission, so resolve these as you have previously. Doomtrain will use another Lightning Express with the turrets, so be mindful where the turrets are firing when you get knocked back. His mechanics repeat, and depending on your group's overall DPS and item level, you may have to deal with more or less than what I have in this video. I just hope that this helps resolve some confusion, mostly around Arcane Revelation, as that is the mechanic I see most people struggle with. Certainly hope that you have been enjoying Dawntrail and will continue to do so, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.